You know, Albany played a great game, man. They have a lot of local talent on their team. One of my best friends is their head coach, so I know they were coming in here with some extra incentive to play well, and they did, man. They battled. I told our guys at halftime, I said, this team isn't laying down for us. We got a lead. We're going to have to put them away, right? And they came out. They beat us by 10 points in the second half. They played well, but I felt like our guys did all the things that we needed to do to win a tough, nasty, ugly game. All right, you got to win ugly sometimes. When shots aren't falling, when you have 23 turnovers and you can still win the game, then that's something. Because the last game, we hit 15 threes. We did so much positive stuff, and we lost, right? So I'm just glad that our guys were able to redeem themselves today. It wasn't pretty, but we got it done.
Questions for Student Athlete?
Christian, how familiar were you with some of the guys on the Albany team, kind of going back to the high school days?
Yeah, I played against a bunch of them, and I worked out with a lot of them this summer. Matt Cerruti, I worked out with him, I made a little. Worked out with him. Growing up, I used to go to the PCL finals, so I saw Paul Newman playing in full extra. Tyreek Kettner, I played with him at AAU. So there was a bunch of guys that I knew just playing in high school, playing in the Philadelphia area. And then even Devondre Perry, I played against him my freshman year at Temple. Me and him were talking about that at one point. So there's a lot of familiar faces on the team.
I asked Matt and Dwayne if it felt like sort of watching like an adult version of Kalo versus Philly Pride or Team Final out there. Did it feel like that? Like a high level Philly AAU brawl or?
To an extent, yeah. I mean, the lot of Philly was in the building, so I think in that aspect, yeah. There's obviously some differences just because it's college, a little bit more discipline and stuff like that, but yeah, it definitely felt like a good Philly matchup.
Were you noticing all the Philly people in the crowds? Like that's something, I know you're not paying attention to the crowd too much, but did you see any, because there were a lot of familiar faces out there?
After the game, yeah. I'll be honest with you, during the game, no, I didn't really notice. I knew we had a lot of people there, but I didn't really see any specific Philly people there.
And coming into this game off of, the first loss at goal, what was kind of the mentality and the strategy going into this, especially since it's homecoming, alumni? You have a lot of people that want to see you win for this game.
Yeah, we had like a slogan which is the next play. And we dropped that first one, but hanging our head and worrying about that loss, bringing it into this game, not only takes us off our own path, but for the people that have come before us, this game is huge for them. So we had to have a deed of selflessness and realize it's bigger than just us. Get that loss in the past and just move forward from it.
I have a question for Coach, is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah, so obviously you and Killings are close. What advice do you have for him as a new head coach having, lost his first 2 games?
Just focus on just getting better, right? Don't worry about the loss because you have another game ahead of you, right? So, develop an identity, and I think they have one. I think they play tough. We watched them on tape. I was watching them. I told our guys, these guys play tough. They compete. They're physical, right? So I think they have an identity, and I think that his team is going to be really good once they get in America East. I think that they have a lot of really good pieces where they can be successful later on in the season. So just focus on the small things that matter most to him, and just keep hammering away on the things that kind of help him with his identity.
Christian, when you know that they're such a Philly heavy team and you know that this game is going to mean a lot to them, do you sort of come in expecting that they're going to be playing with that 110% energy, or is there any way you can sort of turn that into a positive for yourself, knowing how energetic and frenetic they're going to be?
Yeah, I mean, that's like a kind of a twofold question because we knew coming in that they were going to play hard, they were going to crash the glass, they're going to be physical. But at the same time, Coach always tells us just to worry about ourselves and to do what we do. So, yeah, you have to worry about what they do, but at the same time, you have to worry about keeping our same concept and acting the way that we act instead of getting caught up in what they do.
Were there any good interactions on the court?
Actually, that's kind of a funny question because there really wasn't much. There wasn't much, positive communication between both teams. Like I said, me and Dre Perry talked for a little bit at free throw line, but it was never really any friendly conversations between teams.
It didn't have to be friendly,
Any other questions?
And Coach, I noticed there's a big duality in your team. You have kind of flashy, showy players like Khalil Brantley or Jameer Brickus, and then you have guys like Christian and Clifton Moore that have more of a quiet dominance on the court. So what's it like kind of coaching players that have that two different kind of playing styles?
I think that's the thing that makes coaching a very unique profession, because you're trying to blend multiple personalities, right? And guys have personalities on and off the court, right? And guys have different personalities in practice and in games. So my biggest thing is, and C-Ray hears me say it all the time, is like we need to practice to create habits, right? So a lot of the flashy stuff that you see in the game, that's our guys freestyling in the game. Like, we don't see that in practice. And I think a lot of that comes into play where that's why you have like multiple guys on our team that have, a lot of turnovers in the game, because they're not keeping it simple, not just, doing the things that we practice, right? So, it's good that you have older guys like Christian and C-Ray to lead and be an example. But you don't want to take away the creativity from players either, right? So they have to practice certain things in practice, the way you're going to practice in the game. And then, they can express themselves and not turn the ball over.
Actually, DK said there was a point during the game where you guys maybe shared a glance or looked over at each other. Do you know what he was talking about, and what were you thinking? Or maybe if you locked eyes a few times, like, what are you thinking when you?
So there was a possession where first half we took like 5 charges, and he's going crazy on the other end. And I just looked at him, and he's going crazy. And I was thinking to myself, like, how cool is this to see him on the sideline? That's literally that's what I was thinking. I was like, damn, man. Proud of him, like, in the moment. And I know he's ragging on the ref. And then Clifton Moore gets 2 charges called on him. So I know he's down there doing his job. So I'm like, it's all right. So he's down there working the ref. Now I got to work the ref. Our big man was in foul trouble all night. So I think, in games, a lot of the coaches, we know each other, so we all glance down. But it was really cool to glance down and see DK down there today. But I'm really proud of him, and I'm excited for him.
A little extra special glance.
Ashley, what stands out to you more? The turnovers you forced or the turnovers you committed?
I think it goes hand in hand. The turnovers that we forced, I felt like we created them by playing, good defense, right? I felt like the turnovers that we had, we really did it to ourselves, because it wasn't like we turned the ball over while they were pressing us. We turned the ball over in the open court, just losing the ball, being a little careless. I think in the second half, we got to find a way to get our guys to not play so tight and tense and play with confidence. I think the turnovers come from that a little bit too. But that's the journey of a season, and we talk about it, where our guys have to go through games like this so that they can get more comfortable, so that we don't turn the ball over, so that we find some cohesion. We still have a lot of new pieces. We got Josh Nickelberry, who starts for us. Mamadou comes off the bench. Khalil Brantley plays a lot for us. We got 3 new pieces that are always on the floor. And they're learning us, they're learning our system, they're learning certain things that we want to look for, right, when we have the lead, when the game's on the line. So, it's cool. It's cool to see our guys respond today. And it's encouraging to know that we can still get a lot better.
No minutes yet this season for Herrera or Deshaun. Are those redshirt opportunities considerations, or is there any injuries there? Or what's...
So Deshaun was out for a significant part of our preseason. So he just got activated, maybe a week before our first game. So, just allowing him to just kind of work himself back in routine. I think Andreas is going to be good. He's a hard worker. He's a great kid. I think that there'll be opportunities where we may use him. If that opportunity doesn't come, then we just got to keep him positive just to sort of kind of see where the season goes. But you know, we're heavy in the backcourt, right? So, you know, I think Dre just is gonna have to just keep working and stay positive, which I know he's gonna do, and just be prepared for opportunity if it comes his way. But we haven't talked about redshirt either one of those guys yet.
Probably scouted a few of the guys on Albany back when you were recruiting, when they were in high school. And I know they're probably a little different now than when they were 2, 3, 4 years ago, but kind of that familiarity, maybe their tendencies, does that kind of help team plan?
It does, because when you're familiar with guys, you have an idea of who they are, right? Obviously, coaching against Dre Perry, like every single year that he's been in college, like, except last year. Last year was the only year I didn't play against him because we didn't play Temple. But, you know, familiar with what he does, his athleticism, his toughness, his physicality, and he's added the ability to shoot the ball, which makes him a dangerous player. And then, like, obviously, Matt Cerruti, I recruited Colin Gillespie, him and Colin were backcourt mates of Wood, so very familiar with Matt and how good of a shooter he is. And just knowing that, you know, all of those guys, Jarvis Doles scouted him when he was at Drexel, Aaron Reddish, you know, Cam Reddish's younger brother. Watched Aaron grow up. So it was really cool. Paul Newman, watched him grow up. So you just know going into this game that these guys are good players, right? And they're going to come in here and they're going to play, compete, and they want to win, right? So you know that already. It's almost like it's just another Big Five game, right? Where everything goes out the window, right? And anything can happen. And they played tough, man. They gave us a run for our money in the second half. They didn't quit like I told our guys they wouldn't. And I'm glad we escaped the win today and looking forward to preparing for Delaware.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Have a good night, guys.